Resident Evil 4 is often regarded as one of the best video games of all time, taking an accomplished survival horror series and reinventing it as something new, yet fun in its own way. The game is so well regarded that when rumours of a Resident Evil 4 remake suspected to release in 2022 first arose, there was immediate fear. How do you remake the best game of all time? Here's 5 things you need to know about Resident Evil 4. After the first Resident Evil, Shinji Mikami moved from director to producer, giving other directors the chance to take the reins. One of these directors was Hideki Kamiya, who'd previously directed Resident Evil 2. Except Mikami was still a hands-on guy, and had his own vision for the series. And so when Hideki Kamiya started creating Resident Evil 4 as a stylish action game set in the UK, Mikami stepped in, and to not scrap all the work they'd done so far, they spun off to create Devil May Cry. Meanwhile, designer Hiroshi Shibata was made director, with Resident Evil 3's writer Yasuhisa Kawamura writing it. But Shinji Mikami was still not happy with the demos they'd made, kicking both of them off the project and taking both of their roles. Despite disagreeing with Kamiya, there were some things they agreed on. Resident Evil needed to change, and one of those changes should be more action and a controllable camera. This was not a popular approach, and the team at Capcom immediately turned against him. One person even sent him a long 2-paged essay on all the reasons why they thought Resident Evil 4's direction was awful. They all believed that it was too much of a departure from the series' roots, but after they created a playable demo, everything turned around. Suddenly, Capcom staff were excited to work on the game, and I imagine the naysayers are feeling pretty silly. Previous Resident Evil games had been developed for the PlayStation, but Mikami was skeptical. Not only did he not particularly enjoy developing for the PS2, but he also felt that Sony wouldn't necessarily stay in the games business. This presented an opportunity for Microsoft, and they immediately scheduled an interview hoping to make Resident Evil 4 exclusive to the Xbox. Mikami was skeptical about Xbox's chances in Japan, but was willing to hear them out. The one bilingual staff member at Xbox handled most of the interview and managed to completely botch it. Mikami asked, "Nintendo makes games that feel like toys, Sony makes entertainment, but what is your philosophy?" The staff member had no answer, but the thing is, Microsoft had already prepared a philosophy, being that they think of games as being an art form like film, which is absolutely what Mikami would have wanted to hear. But the guy during the interview was so badly prepared that it meant that the game went on to be a Nintendo exclusive, releasing later in the year on PS2, but only released on Xbox in 2011. Resident Evil 4 wasn't the first game to have QuickTime events, but it certainly served as the inspiration for many titles to come. The idea initially came from the cinematics team, who worried that their work was slowing down the game. Players would be gripping the controller through the gameplay sections, but treated the cutscenes as a way to take a break. This wasn't what they wanted, so they added button inputs to the cutscenes. Funnily enough, these have gone out of fashion quickly over time, with even Shinji Mikami saying he got sick of seeing them in every game since RE4. Mikami released Resident Evil 4 in his late 30s, and he says that this is when game developers are at their peak. He says that when you're in your 20s, you're young and excited but don't have the experience to execute your vision, while when you're in your 40s and 50s, as he is now, you don't have the stamina to create, and it's harder to develop cutting-edge ideas. And Mikami practices what he preaches. He regards Resident Evil 4 to have been the peak of his career, and while he did direct Vanquish and The Evil Within later on, he swore that he wouldn't direct a game since. Today he serves as executive producer at his studio Tango Gameworks, overseeing development on Ghostwire Tokyo, a game led by the younger staff at his studio. Thanks for watching OTAQUEST in Japan. Feel free to subscribe to find out more about the art and creation of Japanese pop culture.